talked to him or seen him in a long time. So, yeah, that was nice. It's like, I went, oh yeah, I like Darren. Because usually it's like, usually there's something we're dealing with that's making me upset at him. But it's nice talking to him. I was explaining this, for the longest time I was just explaining this joke about Jafar and how he's the more sympathetic character than Aladdin. Because Aladdin is such an able-bodied man, but he steals what he can't afford, which is everything. Refuses to get a job. And Darren really liked
the acrobat job market is down.
This seriously is a 45-minute conversation that I witnessed, kept leaving, coming back to, and you were still doing it.
Yeah.
So let's not do it here. That's okay.
Yeah.
This question is from the very, very last row. There was what your favorite part of the musical was yesterday.
I just get so excited about this because there was two things that I just died laughing at and could not help, and it's so funny. First one was Chris Allen as Moaning Myrtle. He just made me, like, when he first did that in rehearsal, every one of us was crying, laughing. It was so good. And the other part, and it's because I knew the script and I could see it coming, was AJ doing the Sprinkles monologue. When Hermione asked him what his fantasy is, and he goes, oh, you wouldn't want to know about that. And I can just see it on AJ's face. He goes from like normal to click. Like, and he's gone. I love that.
I liked when, at the end, when Darren was singing to Alle-Faye.
Yeah.
I have a memory from
sorry, real quick. When Darren, right before he went on to do that thing, he came up to me and he was like, Nick, I want to change one thing. And I said, what? And he said, I want to say, I hope you find the swimming pool. And so he changed that right before he went on.
Can we clarify if we can put this online? Because people are videoing and stuff. So do you guys want to ask them not to put that online?
Oh yeah, probably not. Because that would spoil the show. Would be
cool, guys, even in your videos and stuff. You guys have a super respectful audience, by the way.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say I have a memory from rehearsal what was that day? Last night or yesterday? It all blends together. So when the Wizard Rock concert was going on, I don't know if you heard about this, but we were in the room below. We were in the Continental or something, and basically the chandeliers were like vibrating, and the floor was buckling, the ceiling because of all the jumping, and there was this really surreal moment because we all hadn't slept in, upwards of 10 hours, 12 hours, and we were just down in the basement rehearsing, and we had to move rooms, and because the floor was buckling, and so while we were watching that, we started singing Everything Ends. And it was this weird moment. It reminded me of like that scene in Titanic when the ship is going down and the violins are playing a song that's like really somber, and meanwhile there's like this disaster of like the chandelier shaking and the floor shaking, and I was pretty sure we were gonna die, but I thought it was...
Everyone's holding hands, and it's just like the end of Toy Story 3.
Yeah.
We all accept our death as the song ends and the ceiling crashes down and it starts.
I made a joke when we were doing this because at the time, that first run, we ran it in 2 days, like Act 1, Act 2, and it was about 6 hours long, and I go, it's just if we all die together, we can do a play that lasts forever. And we never have to worry about how long it is.
Yeah, when those chandeliers were shaking around and the whole room was shaking, I thought of a funny joke, but and tried to say it, but everyone didn't care. So I'll just say it now. I was gonna say, man, it sucks that we're rehearsing right beneath Megatron and Soundwave's honeymoon suite. They're transformers.
What was the punchline?
Megatrons and what they're
Sound waves.
Honeymoon suite.
Honeymoon suite.
Next question.
I have two questions. The first is, I really got myself here. This one is for Brian. When you were doing Hagrid, what was the accent? Like,
Brian, what was the Hagrid accent?
Scottish.
Now I'm twice as loud. The accent was fat bastard from Austin Powers. That's basically it. With the body movements of Chris Farley.
okay, my second question is just for everyone, I guess. You tweeted that you were gonna like edit the show, and the past Harry Potter shows, you guys edited out a lot of like the inappropriate stuff. I was wondering if you were gonna edit out like swearing or like I don't know, like.
The question, and this has been asked a lot, and we punted it back to you guys. That the question is whether or not the swearing and mistake, stuff are going to be cut out of.
We have to beep F words. We have to beep F words in the Potter shows.
Just to make it consistent with the other two.
Yeah, except for the one F word that we missed in the sequel.
Oh yeah, Seamus says the F word. Right at the end, there's a nice surprise. If you get to the right one.
Yeah, so we're gonna bleep the Fs. We'll probably cut some of the jokes that didn't work. I have Doritos in my throat. Just like stuff that got messed up. We'll cut out a lot of pauses.
Oh yeah.
They want you to make actually a T-shirt that says F the tie. I'm gathering that they want you to leave it in the show too.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we'll leave that in the show. There's certain stuff you just can't cut, but you can cut stuff like where people are just standing there for like 5 seconds going, yay! So we'll just cut that pause.
About the pooping, you guys got kind of lucky as well. We couldn't turn the mics off. A lot of times they were able to like turn them down, and you got kind of lucky because I think I went up to the green room at one point, and Chris Allen comes out, and he has this long like monologue. I can't remember who he was talking to. He was saying, "I will not poop in a unisex bathroom."
That would have been well placed in the final moment of the show. Chris is just off in the wings. Good luck, son.
But maybe you did anyway.
I did hear a phantom toilet flush at one point. But my initial reaction was just to go, what?
The question is, during rehearsal, what's the hardest scene to put together?
The climax, the fight with the basilisk, because it had the most people and the giant puppet.
Yep.
We never made it through it, even in the actual show.
We have time for 2 more questions. So do you guys want to start picking them? Green shirt.
Okay, this is really random, but what is everyone's favorite movie?
What's everyone's favorite movie?
I think all of our favorite movie is 4 Weddings and a Funeral. Next question.
Next question. Okay. You go right there. Oh, sorry. You said take them. Who you picking? No, you. Okay. You right there. Yeah.
My question's from Lauren. Did you intentionally not roll anywhere?
The question is, did Lauren intentionally not roll anywhere last night?
I guess maybe it was a mixture of a lot of things. First of all, like I had this script, so you're kind of limited physically with what you can do, and also with like limited rehearsal and stuff. You know, it's like some things take a little while to develop, so
that might have been stunted a little bit. But then I also think, you know, the rolling thing, I would only do it if it felt appropriate in a certain moment in the show. And for my scenes in this show, I didn't really feel like it was appropriate or necessary. I don't think it would have been totally genuine to just throw it in there, you know, if it wasn't, if it didn't belong in a scene, if that makes sense. So, yeah. I want to throw in, okay. I want to, what? Okay, I want to throw in one question that we've been getting a lot, and that I'm sure everybody is wondering, and I'm hoping we can get some sort of idea. When do you think it will be on YouTube?
Yeah.
I don't know. We've got to edit it, you know, that'll take a while.
Yeah, so I think there were 5 cameras recording it, and the show turned out to be 4.5 hours long, and when we were cutting it close, we lied and told the actors that we only had 4 hours of footage to try and make people go like, oh, we have to like go fast, but that was a lie. We had 4 hours and 40 minutes of footage, so we just made it. If it were 10 more minutes longer, then we could.
Actually, that was a lie I told you. We had unlimited amounts of footage. And that's how you make a play.
Can you clarify for people exactly, besides the video editing, there's sound mastering and everything, so people understand why this does take a significant amount of time?
Yeah, there's 5 cameras you gotta go through. You gotta try to, it's like, you just have to try to make it something that doesn't look so, like, weird, you know? Because in a live show, you can be a little bit more forgiving with, like, oh, they goofed up there, but when it's just like online next to the other shows, and it just, there's like weird pauses or screw ups or toilet flushing, and it just like, it would look weird. So we're gonna try to edit it to make it as clean as possible. So who knows how long that could take.
All right, one last one, I'll let you guys pick it. Brian, you pick it.
I see one hand going like this right there. In front of the hand is the phone. Yeah, I see it.
That's mean.
There was a moment in the climax when in Darren's script, he was supposed to stay on the other side of the basilisk, because that's where he ends up and has to die. And he ran over with the rest of the group. And I didn't know how to get him back over. So I just said, Harry, go back over there for a second. So the mess up was that Ron sent Harry to his death. Single-handedly killed his best friend by sending him back to the basilisk.
There was a moment where Hermione, you don't put this online, there's a moment where Hermione gets petrified by the basilisk. And Nick and I were backstage sitting next to each other, and we sort of just looked at each other and we were like, we forgot to block that. Because we didn't know the basilisk was supposed to go out at that point. So Hermione was just sort of on her own figuring out how to make that work.
No, we actually did block it. The basilisk wasn't supposed to come out. I thought you missed your line. I thought that's what you were talking about.
And it's weird when the lights, oh yeah, that was a goof up. And also, it's like really hard when a scene is supposed to end with somebody going, ah, and then the next scene they start out somewhere else. And when the lights don't go down, when they go, ah, and they have to go, ah, and then walk over to a bench and lay down, it really doesn't look like they were frozen when they went, ah. So it's just...
That'll get fixed on YouTube. Just freeze the frame.
We'll freeze the flame. You get it.
And we'll computer graph in the basilisk.
There's
Good
another,
idea.
I have to bring this up, and I'm sorry, Alle-Faye, but it was really funny. During the show, while Nick was like changing into the Satar costume, Damien, Matt, I guess, wanted him to go on stage, so Matt was panicking, and I guess Nick was still adjusting his costume, and Allie was standing next to Nick in her like black sexy spider costume, and I guess she misinterpreted Matt going, "Go out, Nick, go out on stage," as him talking to Alle-Faye saying, "Go out and wave," and I don't know if you noticed, but Alle-Faye went out on stage and just waved. Wait a second.
Wait, Jamie, you're completely missing. You are
What's the story?
completely
Because that's what it looked like to me.
There's supposed to be
There
two
was-
little orphans say goodbye to Tom.
Yeah, there was supposed to be.
This touches on my favorite fuck up, not favorite, which was it kept on happening in the first act where Voldemort had scenes where people were supposed to come out and join him. Death Eaters, orphans, Slytherins, and it never happened. It just never happened. And everybody, and I say, and everyone goes, "Oh, well, I was pooping, or I didn't know." And you go, "I know you didn't know." Yeah. And it kept on happening where at the end I go, "I am Lord Voldemort," and I turn around, there's two Death Eaters. And like we had like choreographed this moment where like it was this big somber moment where every villain from every Harry Potter came out, and I turn around and there's no one there. Okay. And then it also happened with the orphans where there's this part where it's like, "All right, let's leave."
Yeah, there was supposed to be
And then
two orphans, an orphan with no arms and one orphan with no legs.
That was my favorite because we added the line that said, you know, "Hey, we're leaving with the orphanage. We're going to Hogwarts," and I just walked in a big circle and with nothing around. It's like, well, here we go. All right, this is awkward.
I love when Lauren goes, "Why does Harry Potter stink?" Oh, that's the punchline.
There was also a part, Brian Rosenthal was telling me about this last night, where Darren got in that morning, so he was still finding things very funny. Apparently there was one part where he literally turns to Brian, and I think this happened to Britney too, and said, "Oh my God, this is so funny," on stage while and of course, as he's saying that, he's supposed to be saying lines. So he's like, "Oh my God, this is so funny." He's like looking up at the screen. And at one point, Brian Rosenthal actually smacked him with his wand. It's your line!
I also loved Chris Allen's departure as Moaning Noodle. That added about 20 minutes.
Side note, he was not wearing underwear. Under those shorts.
I was so worried. I was looking at that, I was like, no.
I was like, the one thing that could ruin the show for these girls.
Melissa, that was a LeakyCon workout. Pulling Chris off stage.
Everybody, just want to give a big thank you to Team Starkid. We're heading out to the brunch. It's in the International in the Grand Ballroom, and we'll see you in there.
Yeah, Robert!
I got your pictures today. Your videos. I got every video today. I just said, well, our father's just so sick, and here's a picture of somebody.
I know. Well, and then I went and took the other picture and he ran around for the one people and he was in the background. I was just told that was there was a tweet that was awesome.